Oh, hi, it's Blondie, and I have some good news and some bad news about this game. This is by far, I think, the best WCW game on PS1, and that's not saying very much because I think that all the WCW games on PS1 for the most part are very bad. So you can take them what you will. We're going over WCW Mayhem on PS1 as you guys have voted for. And yeah, this game is kind of a mixed bag. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first wrestling game made by EA for WCW. A majority of them are either made for PlayStation, made by THQ, or later on, like on N64, well, not later on, but about the same time. I'm going off just memory here. A lot of WCW games like WCW NW Revenge and N64, a lot of those made by Anki, which is a fantastic company making wrestling games. They did not make this one, or THQ, because THQ went over to make WWF SmackDown, which is a great game, and SmackDown 2, etc., right? So, for this game, EA, early on EA, like before even like the EA logo everybody knows, like early EA, made this game. So, this game's okay. Now, if we're talking, you gotta go back in retrospect here, we're talking the PlayStation 1 era. So, they really didn't have a lot of, like, modes or stuff at the time, so you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt when you look at a game like this, right? Because remember, how I rate things is how likely I'm to play it on that system of all the wrestling games that library has to offer. So, how is this game? The game's controls are probably the most weirdly unique part, because the game has 2 different melee and 2 different grapple buttons, and at the time that was very strange-ish. Like, they have one button that's just dedicated toward, like, stuns, and how you press the button is, like, how you do it. Like, give you an example, right? So, like, if I'm playing Sting, right, because he's the man, if I'm sitting in the ring and I just click circle, it's like this right cross that just stuns them but doesn't knock them down. If I hold forward on the D-pad and press circle, it's like a jab that is a straight knockdown for one punch, right? It's also where the inside joke of standing dropkick comes from, because you would just do forward X and you would just do a dropkick, and you'd have Tony Schiavone just going nuts over a standing dropkick over and over and over again. Okay, the controls are weird. It has like this momentum meter that both players share. It's very bizarre. Also, when you're about to beat somebody, it just says finish him like it's fucking Mortal Kombat or some shit. But the controls are okay. I will say though, this game does not have any, not even a cage match, there's any cage, no ladder. There are some maps and modes where you can have like chairs outside the ring. But it's really, like, it's fully commentated by Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan, so the commentary is pretty fun for the time. But there really isn't a lot of modes outside of single or handicap or tag, right? Momentum shift, like I said, is weird. Also, if you're playing a tag match, if you're, let's say me and you are playing, right? And you're the legal man and you're getting your ass kicked, can I come in and beat you up? After a period of time, because there is no referee model in this game, you just kind of like, alright, I did 3 seconds of work, I'll see you later. And you just kind of weirdly walk and just get out of it back into your corner, right? So, I would say that if you're gonna play this game, for whatever reason on the meme or because I'm doing this, just type in a cheat code and unlock all the characters. There's plenty of cheat codes to do it, just do it, because the worst part about this game, by far, and I'll explain why, the worst part about this game is unlocking stuff. So, first off, the roster as a whole, if you count unlock this game, is actually very good. You have like Wolfpack Sting, Scott Steiner, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, you got like Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, La Parka, you got Perry Saturn, you got all these crazy great wrestlers. It really checks all the boxes for the WCW talent at the time. You know, Goldberg, everybody. It has everybody you can imagine in this game, right? For WCW at that time. However, the worst part is unlocking, because unlike in a lot of games where you have a point system, or you have to meet challenges, or complete a season mode, this game has it where it's literally strictly by what title you're going for, what character sometimes, or what difficulty, and it's per character. And the reason why I think that's terrible is the PlayStation 1 memory cards don't have a lot of space. And when you do a challenge to unlock that character, it'll take up a memory spot. So you can only unlock so many characters unless you're going in all out on the max difficulty off the bat. It's a pain in the ass. I think it's actually the most negative way you can do it. But the game is pretty good outside of that. There's really not much to talk about. The season mode isn't voice acted. It's just kind of like ladder climbing where you have to go from unranked to being ranked to doing stuff. There's not a lot of modes. Creative characters, whatever, even for this time period. So the game is just, it's okay. I wouldn't say the game is bad. Like I said, like for the WCW library on PS1, the only one I think you could argue is a little better might be WCW vs. the World, but I don't really like that game. It's not that it's bad. I don't really want to play any of the WCW games on PS1, to be honest. Like, let me put it this way. I would absolutely rather play WCW Mayhem than WCW Nitro, WCW Thunder. These are on PlayStation 1 here, and they're terrible. WCW Backstage Assault is one of the worst games ever for other reasons. I probably won't. I had that game at one point as a kid. I got rid of it so bad. I was like, I can't look at this. So overall, the game has actually surprisingly good controls, but it'll take a little bit to getting used to. And there's not a lot of content outside of just the modes and stuff. Like there's nothing is like I said, voice acted, or like even some of the older wrestling games like WWE Warzone, they have like cutscenes with the actual wrestler doing stuff. There's no fun AMVs. The intro in this game is pretty sick though. I'll give them credit for that. But this game it's alright. I think for the PS1 library, it's not needed if you're a wrestling fan, but if you specifically just want a WCW game on PlayStation 1, I think this is probably the way to go. Now, final verdict time. I feel like I got through that pretty quick. How long? Like, what, 7 minutes or whatever? I'm not even looking at the voice recording here. I think this game on the PlayStation library is pretty okay. I think that the PlayStation for wrestling games only really shined the later on it got into its lifespan. Like, I think that WWF SmackDown 1 and 2, I think, are one of the two is probably the best, I think. SmackDown 2 probably is the best. But I'll get to that another day. So, how would I rate this from 1 to 10? Well, you know, because there's a slim picking on wrestling games on PS1 here. I think I might have to give this one a little higher rating than I would normally. I don't think the game is bad. I think that if you're a WCW fan, you'll enjoy the game, like the classic games for stuff like that if you want to go this route. But rating it on how I would put this in on the PlayStation, I think a 7 is pretty safe. A 7 out of 10 is pretty safe. For PlayStation specifically, now if I'm putting this against all WCW games, it would be like a 3 or 4, probably a 4. Like, cause like just WCW vs. NWO Revenge is just so much better of a game, but it's on a different console. Like I said, that's not how I rate things. It takes a little bit of fun out of it. So I would say maybe a 7's too generous though. You know what? I'm gonna go with a 6, just because unlocking shit is a pain in the ass if you don't know the cheat codes or don't have a save file. So I think because of the memory card aspect, I'm gonna drop this down to a 6. I think that's what it's gonna be finally. Game is alright. Alright guys, I will see you later. Videos have been kind of skewed because I've just been super busy with everything I'm doing in my life, and I don't make money off doing this. It's just for fun, just because I enjoy doing it. So I think that what I might do is, on that poll that I had this game and the TNA Impact Wrestling game on PS2. I might shift to that, or I might do another poll just to kind of see what you guys want to do. Alright? Okay, I'm gonna go drink for life, old chocolate milk now. Okay, bye.